want to do whenever you come into the game is you're definitely going to want to go down and adjust some of your settings. So you'll go in here, go to settings. You can of course adjust your system settings, you can mess with your vibration. I recommend looking at your controls, seeing what works best for you. You know, change your lock-on priority, change your attack controls. I have mine set to where, you know, whenever there's an enemy Pokemon nearby, I press A for that. If I press B, then it only attacks the wild Pokemon. So that's a differentiate back and forth so that I have some, you know, some control, and of course there's the advanced ones. I have automatic basic attacks on. You can turn that off, whatever you want to do. In motion pursuit distance and motion pursuit mode, I of course have that turned off. Scoring controls, pressing the button, I feel like is very important for this. That way you don't have to sit there and hold it. You can just press it once and, you know, it'll do it for you. You can change your sensitivity. You can change everything. Change your mini-map, move learning controls, all of these things. Aim assist. So definitely come through here and kind of see, you know, what do you feel like will work best for you. You can look up what other people use, and just go from there with customizing that to what you guys like. You can look at battle info, quick chat settings, and this, of course, is something we'll talk about a little later in the video, but you can customize here very recently, more so what you want your quick chats to say. So that's fantastic. And of course you can redo your button settings. Okay, you have several types of Pokemon. You have ranged attackers, melee attackers, speedsters, all-rounders, supporters, and defenders. So Duraludon here is a ranged attacker. You have Charizard, who's an all-rounder, he's a melee. Slowbro is a ranged defender. Zeraora is a melee speedster. Another ranged attacker, Eldegoss is a ranged supporter, so on and so forth. So those are your main types and attack function Pokemon. You know, obviously melee is close up, ranged is far away. Whatever suits your playstyle. Defenders are buffer. Those are generally your tanky Pokemon, if you will, if you play other games. You know, they're more designed for keeping your team safe, have special skills to prevent the other team from scoring, etc., etc. Supporters are designed to back your team up, sort of like healers and MMOs, if you have any experience with that. They have special kits, special tools that are supposed to give your team the advantage and help them survive. Like Eldegoss, who we're going to get into a match with. Really, you're really not looking to score as a supporter, generally. You know, when you get more comfortable with them, you can try to do more, but you really just kind of want to be there to support your team. Now, you do have Pokemon that evolve, like Eldegoss. She has one evolution, so you're going to want to go down a lane, top or bottom, and you're going to want to kill the NPC Pokemon until you level. And the general idea with Pokemon who evolve is to level as quick as you possibly can. If you're an attacker, speedster, all-rounder, you're kind of going to prioritize that quite a bit because you leveling up in early game is going to determine how useful you really are in the game in general and how much you can do, etc., etc. It really impacts the game overall if it takes you a while to level. And if you look at the mini-map, the little yellow dots are the NPC Pokemon that you kill for points and for experience. It's going to be really important for you not to kind of run in and feed kills. You definitely don't want to be helping out the opposing team. MOBAs are, you know, a little bit unlike other genres of games in a way that not a lot of folks may be familiar with them, and you definitely kind of want to hang back. You definitely don't want to overreach, overextend in a way that would put you, make you vulnerable and put you at risk, because when you die, you drop a lot of orbs, which the other team can get, and really puts you at a disadvantage. It leaves your goals open, etc., etc. And, of course, takes away time that you could be using to inevitably score some serious points. So you definitely want to try to hang back, be smart. It does take time to learn, and that is one of the most important aspects of the game, is learning when, you know, picking your battles carefully, learning when to fight and when to kind of pull back and be more defensive. In most situations, if folks are very greedy or overconfident, they will come to you, they will make a dire mistake, and you will reap the benefits. So at the bottom of the map, you see this timer going down here. That is the 11-second mark for Dreadnought, who is the turtle Pokemon, who gives your team a nice little buff that you always want to take advantage of. You always want to help your team to get Dreadnought as many times as you possibly can throughout the match. That shield gives you a pretty good advantage, and it's definitely something you want to take advantage of for the points and for the shield. When you attack Dreadnought, it sends out a lovely little message to the rest of your team, who will hopefully then come and support you, but that's not always the case. So you see the little Pokeballs above the NPC's heads with the value on it. Those are how many orbs they potentially drop for you to gather and essentially turn in. Alright. Up on your D-pad is going to be your quick chat. We're going to call for backup. It's going to be a little too late for our friend here. And those are the messages that you can edit in the settings screen to make, you know, to do some kind of cool things with. There are a lot of options that didn't used to be an option in the past that they added recently, so that was kind of nice. Now, it's not very beneficial to walk all the way back, so you're going to push down on your D-pad and it's going to teleport you back to the starting zone, which will also heal you. And after you get to a certain point, you can use the nifty little super jump pad. Use your right stick to guide you, and you can go wherever your little heart desires, as long as you have a goal there, basically. At the end of the match, usually with about 2 minutes left, you'll see Zapdos spawn. Your entire team will want to go to the middle to help kill Zapdos, because Zapdos will give you a pretty big advantage if you kill him, and it can actually change the entirety of the game. Killing Zapdos creates a buff for your team, or a debuff for the other team, depending on which side you're on, where you score double points for a set amount of time. And really can bring back a losing team from the dead, essentially. So when you go into a match, you're going to be faced with picking a Pokemon of your choice. I definitely, recommend playing your favorite Pokemon, no matter where you think they might be on the tier list, what streamer says they're good, what streamer says they may be terrible, because your personal experience with the Pokemon is going to be way different than someone else's. So pick a Pokemon that you like, take a look at their abilities, pick some held items that you have, and just hope for the best, have fun with it, play around with it a little bit. The game will also suggest where it thinks you should go. Top lane, bottom lane, middle. Of course, Squirtle is a 3 evolution Pokemon, so we're gonna need to work a little harder with him to get our boy where he needs to be. So don't be in a hurry to get the first score. If you are, outnumbered, you definitely don't want to try to go for that. And you can always, count on there being the same amount of Pokemon on the other team as your team. Each team has 5. So if there's 3 Pokemon up top with you, then there's 2 Pokemon bottom. You can always see where your teammates are Sometimes you can see where the opposing team's Pokemon are. That just really depends. And the game spawns these neat little yellow berries. If you are dying and you see a yellow berry, you can pick it up. I wouldn't recommend picking up both of them and being greedy if your teammate is also with you. But if you're by yourself, or you're going with someone like Pip and you feel like they really wouldn't mind, they're at full health, then that's perfectly fine. But I definitely wouldn't grade them if you can keep from doing so. And as a defender, I generally would not go middle. You either want to go top, you want to go bottom. I know you may need, you know, feel like you need to kill everything in sight to kind of level faster, but you really don't want to take the jungle, which we call the middle, away from, you know, a speedster or an attacker who really might be deeply impacting your team relatively quickly by leveling up significantly faster than you. You kind of want to save the jungle for Zeraora, you know, other Pokemon like Lucario and ones like that who really benefit from getting their better plus abilities earlier, sooner than later. At the top here, you're going to see we have Rotom. Whichever team gets Rotom gets a nice little boost to their zone. So Rotom effectively scores a high amount of points to any goal that they reach. So if it is your team, then you're gonna have a bonus amount of orbs going into a goal. So let's talk a little bit about scoring. So you can see the amount of orbs you picked up above the Pokeball at the bottom of your screen. You really don't, you know, need to get a certain amount before you feel like it's okay to score. You definitely don't want to put yourself in a position where you may hold too many, and not be able to essentially score with those. You definitely want to hold on to a reasonable amount. Score when you can, score as often as you can, but don't put yourself in a position to lose the orbs that you have carried, because you will drop a lot of them, especially if you are trying to carry the max, which is typically 30 during a match, but there are other factors that can let you pick up to 50. And as you level, you'll gain what you see as plus abilities. Those are better versions of abilities that you already have, which typically deal more damage. Have increased range, etc., etc. So you can start out by seeing what Pokemon you have by hitting ZL, going to your Pokemon, seeing which ones in the game have gifted to you, you've bought, which ones you have trials for, which ones are the current Pokemon to try out for that week. Set the Pokemon that you want to learn or play the most frequently as your favorite, because that will set that Pokemon as your auto pick whenever you go into any kind of match, which will better your chances of getting to play that Pokemon. Especially if it's a new person like Duraludon here, you set it as your favorite, it'll automatically be what you have when you go to start a match. And you are likely to be able to play that Pokemon. So you want to go ahead and try to preset up your Pokemon, if you can. Like you can see their moveset, you can go through, look at them, read them, and you can auto set to what you want. And what this means is it will say, like with Duraludon reaching level 5, you can select one of the following two. What that means is it'll automatically be your pick. Like if you're in the middle of a match and you can't hit left or right on the D-pad to select your ability, that is what it will pick for you. You can change that at any time. Pretty simple, really easy to do here. And it also gives you the stats for your Pokemon. And here you'll see your 3 held items, which you're also gonna upgrade and get throughout the game, but we're not gonna talk a lot about the specifics of held items while we're here in this particular video, but you can see what they do. You can increase your rank. Increase their rank You're going to want to pick 3 of them, and we can look more specifically at which ones are best for each Pokemon at another time, or you can, of course, look up some videos from other content creators who specialize in these Pokemon to see what you should be picking. I do definitely recommend that you do not start rank matches with Pokemon that you're very unfamiliar with. Like, you're definitely gonna want to play your fair share of randoms, quick matches, until you're a little familiar with the game, basic mechanics of how it works, and, you know, familiarize yourself with a couple of Pokemon that you really like and feel like you have not really mastered, we won't say, but know fairly well enough to hold your own. So as we were talking earlier about leaving the jungle for your attackers, speedsters, all-rounders, etc., especially the ones who have to go through multiple levels. This is a prime example of where either Cinderace, myself, or Dratini could go mid. And the middle is basically what we call the jungle. You'll start out here. It's very important that you kill your little puppy here. And then you go through and you get your Crawdonts and then your 2 other Pokemon who will give you a shield. As soon as you clear this section, you're going to want to head to whichever one of the lanes you feel like you're better suited for or is less populated and needs your help to help them, you know, kind of get their groove on, get moving, do the objective, score some points, kill some enemy Pokemon, etc., etc. And then you'll come back throughout the game and you'll continue to clear this section. These 2 Pokemon do give you a little buff advantage, so it's very important that that you come and clear these, especially before you're doing Rotom or Dreadnought. And if you pay attention to your screen, it'll give you more than enough information, you know, and definitely more than what you need to be successful. Of course, you can see I only had 24 points, but we scored anyway, and we actually got a triple score there. And of course, it takes 100 points to clear a zone. The point of the game is to clear all their zones and score in the home circle, which I guess you would call the starting zone. Is that, well, effectively in the game. Of course, whoever clears the zones the fastest and has control of Zapdos typically is your winner. But like we covered before, Zapdos can really turn the tides of the game pretty quickly. So you want to try to be the first one there, and if they happen to get there before you, you want to make sure they don't do anything too devastating to your zones by wiping their team if you can. It's like we have 23 seconds on Dreadnought and Rotom. So you can rotate to whichever one you feel like you are needed at. Dreadnought is very beneficial for the shield, but I feel like oftentimes that Rotom is more beneficial because you do score some points, and a lot of them from particularly getting Rotom and getting him down to one of their zones. If they happen to clear a zone before you can score, it's not the end of the world. You'll have another chance. Try not to fret too much over it because it will happen pretty often. Something that I did not talk about, which I'm sure you just saw me use a special item, is you will unlock other items. You can carry one at a time. That will either let you drop a smoke bomb, let you leap forward, heal yourself a little bit in the form of a potion, etc., etc., and you will see those. I think the first one that you get is a potion, so you will become very familiar with those. The top of your mini-map will also show you which, you know, a number of goals that have been destroyed on your side and the opposing team's side. If you like to keep track of that, I mean, normally you can just see that by looking at the map in general, but that's another place you can go to look if you really want to stay on top of what is going on. teamwork in this game, as any MOBA, is very important. You definitely want to be doing your part without hindering your team too much by dying too often, picking fights that you can't win, and doing other really risky plays that can kind of put the other team in an advantage by you dropping balls and also giving them extra points by killing you. Essentially, like our Cinder Ace friend here, they are carrying around 40 orbs, and that's going to be a bad idea because they're going to drop all of those in that moment and go down, and essentially they're going to lose all of that. And you can see all these extra balls laying around that we can score. They can also come pick them up, but we can score them and turn them in. And you really want to go back and gather any balls that are laying on the ground for a situation like that so that you can quickly recover and score again for your team. And you can see they got Rotom, which gave them bonus points to our goal for a few seconds, and also scored a pretty good amount of points in their name on this particular goal. So if you can stop that from happening, you want to. But my intent to score kind of outweighed my decision to go for Rotom there, as they were already attacking and my teammates didn't seem interested. One important thing that I forgot to mention earlier is you do not want to end up in the unfriendly zone of the opposing team. Because as you can see, if you go into a goal where there is a red line, you will be significantly slowed. You want to go at the goals in order from top to bottom. If you try to bypass anything or be cheeky and they catch you, you're more than likely going to die.
The final stretch.
Because that slow is very aggressive. It's time for Zapdos. We want to go there with full health. We're going to go home. We're going to use the super jump. We're going to use the right stick to go over. And we're going to carefully approach and see what's going on here. I have my V map as pressing down on the left bumper and using the right stick, so I can kind of see what's going on with these guys without getting too awful close. Let's see if we can snipe Zapdos. And we successfully sniped Zapdos from them. So even though we were behind before, we have the home field advantage now. You want to go for the top and bottom goals, not necessarily the middle, until all of these are destroyed. And they cannot stop you from scoring at that point. Anything that you score will be instant, which is really nice. So those are all the tips and tricks and ideas that I have for sharing with anyone who might be a beginner or relatively new to Pokemon Unite.